All right, everybody, come on in. Come on in. Welcome back to another relationship reaction video on Let's Talk with Maggie and Lucy. I am Maggie, Maggie the substitute teacher. You all may know me from my cooking channel. I make food and femininity content. Lucy, my bestie here. We are the proud founders of the Finishing School for the Modern Woman, which is a community we created of ladies who believe in personal development, and we teach them all about etiquette, elegance, and femininity. We just had a wonderful joint session on emotional intelligence, and we are getting ready for our graduation next year. Cannot wait. Lucy, if you would, please introduce yourself. And then I have a video this week that we're going to react to. Please.
Hi, I'm Lucy. Hi, Maggie. Yes, just like Maggie said, we just had an incredible session. And, I remember when we first started, somebody said, yeah, what you're going to do is just going to be a drop in a big bucket. But you know what? That bucket is getting filled because our community of feminine, elegant ladies is growing. And it brings me chills, how an idea became reality. And it's just, we're seeing the fruits of our labor and the ladies are working on it and it's sticking. The information is sticking and they are getting it. So I also have a channel that this year the content changed to topics about femininity, elegance, and things that impact women over a certain age. But this session, this reaction time is going to be really interesting, Maggie. Really interesting, Maggie.
Y'all, okay, you know how this algorithm works. I'm minding my business with my apron on, coming up with a new recipe, and then bam, a reaction video to this video showed up in my feed. I watched it, I sent it to Lucy. I said, have you seen this? And Lucy was like, yes, isn't it nuts? Let's react. So we are going to show you all the original video. As always, we are going to pause it and interject with our commentary. So your two disclaimers, if you want to watch it uninterrupted, I've linked it in the description. It is a TikTok video. And our perspective as two older women who believe the older women should teach the young. We come from a traditional background. So we believe in mom and dad, boy and girl, husband and wife, man and woman. And that's our perspective. If you want to do something else, that's totally fine. Just do it over there because over here, you probably won't be happy. All right. So with that being said, I'm going to mute myself and share my screen. And let's see what this man has to say.
This is the story of me agreeing to get an older woman pregnant and then her trying to ruin my life. When I was 23, I had a one-night stand with a girl from my hometown named Maria. We both knew it was nothing more than that, and we didn't speak after. Several months later, I received a text from her saying that she hadn't been lucky in love and she wanted a baby before it was too late. So she asked if I would get her pregnant and I wouldn't have to bear any responsibility, like a sperm donor.
I'm already upset. All right, let's get into it. This man had a one-night stand with a woman. Ladies, do what you want to do. Nobody cares. But here's the issue that I have. If you heard him say a few months later, she called me to say she had been unlucky in love, I wonder why. Ladies, we reap what you sow. If you want a hot girl summer, if you want to have one night stands, if you want to be known as for recreational use only, because if you heard him, he said, we both understood that it was a one night stand and we did not speak after. So she didn't reach out to him until months later. Here's my point, ladies. You are not going to get the love outcome that you want treating relations like it's just fun for recreational use. There is a place for people who do that, but they are not the ones who end up in love with a meaningful relationship. So young ladies, hear me, especially, do not buy into the lie that you can be just like a man, sow your wild oats, have fun, and it doesn't catch up with you. Believe me, it will catch up with you. All right. So make your decisions wisely. That is a beautiful expression of love in a relationship and a marriage. But if you go around being known for being Miss One Night Stand, do not complain when you are unlucky in love. What would you add, Lucy?
Notice that how she played her sob story to get him to agree to something that she said he would not bear any responsibility. I mean, that is something that I think she knew the kind of ways to manipulate him she had, that she was able to tell him the story. You know, she couldn't find out of how many, she couldn't find any that would fall for it. And then he was the last resort.
So, yes, I'm going to say it until the cows come home, ladies. The other thing I want to say, and then we'll get back to the video, selfishness. Ladies, you heard me talk about this. We have got to humble ourselves and realize we don't get what we want just because we want it. So she had a one night stand with him months before. Then when she calls to complain that she's been unlucky in love, she says, I want a child before it's too late. Ladies, that is not the reason to have a child. I get very upset about this because I have heard women say, I wanted a baby, I got pregnant. And you are not thinking about the best interest of the child. It requires too much and too much sacrifice for you to just do whatever you want to do whenever you want to do it. You all know I'm a divorcee, but I am so glad that even though the relationship couldn't keep the marriage together, but my ex-husband is an amazing dad, so much so that the boys now live with the father and they are the better for it. So these are the type of women that rush in to do what they want just because they want it. I'm getting older. I haven't really prioritized relationship, but forget a marriage, forget a stable home, forget having a dad that the child is going to want to look up to and say, oh, that is who I am. That is who I belong to. That is where I get my identity from. Forget all that. I'm getting older, so I want a child. That selfishness, ladies, is not helping us. And then when the child gets older, and your hands are full and you're looking for someone to rescue you from the position you've put yourself in, everybody's going to look at you and be like, you got it. You didn't care. You didn't bother to get married or consider what would be in the best interest for the child or this man whose seed is going to be just walking around. Let us continue.
I considered it, and I first thought no, but after some time to think about it, I thought it'd be the right thing to do for someone struggling. So we filled out an ironclad agreement, and basically I wouldn't be responsible at all. A while later, she told me she was ovulating, and then a few weeks after that, she told me she was pregnant and it had worked. I went back to California for work, and we didn't speak after that. Unbeknownst to me, she contacted my family behind my back and invited them to the baby shower. They then began getting dinner or whatever regularly, and as she got to know my parents started encouraging me to be in the baby's life, and once I found out it was a little girl, I thought it was the right thing to do.
All right, here I come again, coming in hot. You all know that I say I don't really believe I have a place to talk to men. I am not a man. We believe the older women should teach the young. We have a lot of men in our community who support and protect us, and we appreciate that. But in this case, I'm going to speak to my sons and whatever men are listening. If it's helpful, let it be helpful. Do not ever, never, ever offer your contribution to a woman who just wants to have a child and tells you this won't have anything to do with you. I am very unfamiliar with this space. I've been in a relationship or married since I was 18. I had no idea women were playing these kinds of games. But I have heard this the more that I talk to men that have made something of themselves. It is not uncommon. Some of y'all are in the chat. You can let us know. It is not uncommon that women that you know that are friends or colleagues or maybe exes or whatever, when the clock is ticking for them and they have wasted their youth and their prime years, they decide to come ask a favor of you and tell you, oh, you won't be involved at all. Do not believe it. These women are very intentional what they're doing, because if they just wanted the DNA, they could go to the DNA bank and get the random sample and take care of it that way. But the fact that she's coming to you, she knows there's something about you, either your success or your kind heart. It will never end well for you. Do not do this for any woman. And thank you, Suave D, coming in again, always so consistent with the $10. He says, you ladies look gorgeous. God bless you both. You are too kind. Thank you. Lucy, what would you add?
Again, it goes back to her. She seems to be a master in the manipulation game. And that's a really scary thing, because sadly, with our good men, when you start doing the woman way, most of you fall for it, unfortunately. And he said something about he thought to do the right thing, and that is so scary. So what is the right thing? To play her game and be allow this woman to manipulate you just because she feels that it's her time, her clock is ticking, and it's her time to have a baby. Just it's so sad.
Yeah, it's absolutely sad. And we're going to get back into this. So again, I'll speak as a mother. Boys, I don't care. If you are a man and you have a future, if you are on an upward trajectory, that is going to speak volumes. The women will come, some with good intentions, some with not good intentions. So we are already telling our sons, beware. I don't care what she says, what she promises. But the other thing I want to say, 2 points here, ladies. Did you hear? You can tell just by listening to this man's story. I don't know if it's true or not, but we're going to take it at face value as a teachable moment. You can tell this man seems to be kind-hearted. Have you heard that the first time she came to him and said, I've been unlucky in love and I really want a baby before I get too old? He said he was 23. Again, not the best decision for him, clearly, because we're reacting to it. But my point is that, ladies, there are still men out here that care for us, and even to their peril, will do things to help us. So a woman like this that taking advantage of anybody is bad. But a woman like this that preys on, she's an older woman, preying on a younger man with his whole life ahead of him, there is a special place, you know where, for her. I feel very strongly about this as a boy mom. But my point is that she came to him and said, I've been unlucky in love was sob story number 1. And he helped her father a child. And then this monster that she is, when she told him and even had him sign an agreement that was ironclad, women, can you see why the men don't trust us now? We're all getting lumped in. Had him sign an agreement, the whole time she knew she wanted to rope him in. The deception here, the manipulation here, but she was too chicken, you know what, to go to him and say, on second thought, can we try and make this a family? Which was wrong. She went to his mom and dad because she knew if she could weasel her way into the grandparents. Now the grandparents are putting pressure on this man to be in that child's life. The whole thing is wrong. He should have said no from the beginning and sent her to the DNA bank. This is not my problem to solve. But again, a man who has love in his heart, who trust and believed, ladies, this is where the dragons come from. The men that are ruthless, I have learned there was a time when they gave a woman the benefit of the doubt, and now all of us have to have trial by fire. So be very careful. What you do has ripple effects for everybody. Maybe you care, maybe you don't, but hopefully you can learn something. All right, let's go back in and see what else he has to say.
I flew home to be there for the birth, and I got a tattoo of our daughter's middle name before she was born. After our daughter was born, Maria wanted us to be together and be a family. And when I said I didn't want to do that, she wouldn't let me see my daughter.
All right, I'm going to take some time here to just kind of keep these I'm going to keep these screenshots on the screen because I want to see them myself, and I'm just going to kind of skim through them. But again, not the best decision. He is showing his commitment, even though he said, I'm just a donor. He went there to be there for the birth, and I will speak to my virtual sons again. Your word has to be your word. If the answer is no, especially with women who are manipulative, when they find a chink in the armor, if you let there be a little bit of, yes, okay, I'll be there for the birth. Okay, you're going through a lot. These kind of women that are not of good character, they will weasel themselves in, they will rope themselves in. What would you add, Lucy?
I agree. The manipulation game right there is really, really high. The fact that she had the courage to reach out to his parents to get herself in. I mean, that tells you that there's that intention to somehow link herself, connect herself to that family. It's just so scary. And I feel for men because, again, there are those women that are that fatal attraction type women that will ruin a man's life because you were kind and you thought that it was going to be different, even though this young man probably saw the signs and he said, you know what, let me try it this time.
Exactly. Let's see what you all are saying in the chat. Rodney says men should always protect his seed and women should always protect her soil. Ladies, I know we live in modern times, but there's a reason why Lucy and I are still preaching these traditional values. It protects you women. It keeps you out of this fray. One of the things that I've learned being in this space and talking to women and why I am starting to rein it back is because single women bring so much chaos. Lucy and I have a connection to the late, great Kevin Samuels, and he used to say that single women keep women single. There are some women that intentionally will do things to throw stones in your relationship. But what I've realized is that we women, if we don't have that covering, if we don't have that protection, if you're not a relationship kind of girl, if you're just out here doing whatever, you have so much chaos in your life and what you do and your decision making, and it just bleeds out everywhere that you go. So ladies, choose your friends wisely. If you have a friend like this that moves kind of shady, you know who the shifty people are, start distancing yourself from them. It will not help you. All right. The Clue Channel is here. Hello. Thank you so much for being here. Yes, Gillis says she is a snake. And again, I will tell my virtual sons, and I'll tell y'all what I've told the boys one time in a row. There are some things that this is who you are. You lie, you steal, you deceive, you do things. This is not just, oh, I was running late and I lost track of time. No, we have to use our discernment. And ladies, the men are waking up to the foolishness. And even those of us that may consider ourselves good girls get lumped in because too many women have been doing this foolishness. So absolutely, she is a snake. And I'm going on record saying it because I told y'all, mean old mister said, until the good ones start speaking up, everybody can get it. So Lucy and I will be here with our flag saying, not us. Jürgen says, one of the thousands of reasons not to trust modern women. You know what you're talking about. Yeah, I'm sure. Ladies, ask the men. Here's your homework assignment. Ask the men in your community that you admire and respect. I'm sure they have some type of story where a woman tried to play some type of paternity game with them or ask them to just donate to, having a child. Men have been through it. And the fact that they continue to try again, some of them have shut us off. And here we are. But the fact that some men are still trying with us, ladies, I think if we humble ourselves and appreciate what they've been through. Good afternoon, Aaron, Laura. I'm glad you all are here. Rodney says, sadly, there are far too many stories about the dangers of being a good Samaritan. And that breaks my heart. No good deed goes unpunished. Aaron, Laura, our moderator, has been rocking with us for 27 months. Oh my gosh, over 2 years. Thank you. Since the beginning of my channel. Thank you. Thank you. Lady C says, evening blessings. Thank you all for liking the live stream. All right. Yes, we miss Kevin every day. We will keep his name in the algorithm. I promise you that. Aaron Laura says, there's a lot of paternity fraud. It's sad. It's wild that women are upset at the idea of mandatory testing. What do you have to hide? I'm with you on that. Y'all know me. My slogan, swab everybody in this hospital room right now. Because 13 years from now, when this boy is bigger than me and trying to punch holes in the wall, I'm calling you. All right. So yes, exactly. I have nothing to hide. Swab everybody. Swab the pets. Swab everybody. Okay. Focus, Maggie. Let's get back in. I just want to do a little so you all can see here. Let me see if I can go back. So she starts spamming this man with all of her problems, right? So again, she asked for a donation and basically said, you don't have to worry about anything. And then after the baby came and he was there for the birth, she goes to his family to try and play on his heartstrings. So I'm going to stop by Popeyes. Do you want some food? Sorry, my mood was bad. I want to try and make it work with us being a family. Can we do that? She had a plan all along. Let us continue. What else does she say? I want to be with you, Brett. I hate when you leave us. Now we're a makeshift family. I just need you to say something or how you feel about that. So you see, she's spamming him. He's not responding. And this woman, you all, this is a character trait. This is who she is. This is not, I just had a bad day. This is one of those women that you're going to listen to me. I'm going to blow up your phone until you respond to me. I hate when you leave us. You're lucky that this man who you said was just a donor was even there for the birth. In my opinion, as a mother, he should have never done it. And if he did do it, he should have said, we agreed. Remind her. I tell the boys, sit that woman down and let her know this is what we're doing. This is what we're not doing. Why? Because you're going to have to remind her of what was already said. And I am saying that as a woman. We are just chaotic. We just are. Don't believe me? Just watch. All right, so he responds, I'm sorry, but that isn't what I want to do. And what does she say? Coming back with her complaints. That hurts. Now we have feelings. Before, you were just selfish and you wanted what you wanted. Now you're trying to pull on his heartstrings because you know you have that good Samaritan. She goes on. The baby and I need to stay in your house for like 2 months until I can get our own place and so that I can save a little more. Shouldn't have had a baby on your own. I am taking a position remote, which comes with a huge pay cut, more sympathy vote, but I won't have to put our daughter, notice the language here. I won't have to put our daughter in daycare and I can be home with her. Looks like we're closing this property on June 9th in wherever. So I'm hoping to be packed up and out of this apartment the weekend prior to the 9th. I'm packed up and ready to come to you. I'll put all of my stuff in storage except our clothes. Can we stay there? He doesn't respond. She says, kind of important. You respond, no, ma'am. This is your life. What did I tell y'all? Nobody cares. You make the bed, you sleep in it. Ladies, that's why we're telling you, wait for marriage before you have children. You do not want to be out here on your own. I don't care how many beautiful doll babies you see. It is a lot, believe me. Here comes the stalker. You're deliberately ignoring me, and it's extremely frustrating considering I'm asking you to put a roof over your daughter's head. If you don't want to help us, then let's see a lawyer and sign your rights over and let me
And comes the time was the Airbnb that I.
Okay, we'll get back into the story, but are you all noticing how she's ratcheting it up, right? She said, you don't have to be involved. Just donate. I'll take care of everything. Now she comes with the sob story. I'm noticing this is a pattern. Maybe y'all knew this. This is all new to me. I did not know women were moving like this. So my eyes are wide open. So she comes in with the sob story. And when the sob story doesn't work, look how quickly she turns on the threat. So be very careful. And the ladies that don't do this, we have to know that this is happening and understand what men are going through. What would you add, Lucy?
And I think it's important to remember as women, when I'm thinking about a situation that I had, I was telling, my nephew about our women way. And my sister said, no, we're not that way. So it started a little bit of an issue. So I said, I think in general, we women can be emotional and we can be manipulative. All I'm saying is that he needs to be careful with the type of women that he hangs around, because, we don't want a situation where he's going to be involved with somebody that has that fatal attraction thing and he's going to get in trouble. So again, it's important for us women to say, yeah, we do that. We need to watch for those women, because again, we don't want those women in our environment. We got to keep our families, our environment, our society, the environment that we move in, away from these women that are absolutely chaotic, and they bring that chaos into our lives.
Yes, absolutely. And ladies, looking away and saying nothing is not going to cut it anymore, because the men have stopped talking. The only way this is going to fix itself is if we start checking these women in a feminine way, but even saying that's not okay is enough. All right, let's see what y'all are saying in the chat. UFO Kamikaze says, most of my sister's female friends have said they wanted a child with me. Therefore, I avoid them like Ebola. I laugh, but it's not funny. I did not know this, y'all. I can honestly say I have learned women's ways. I've had a marriage and a long-term. I've been in a relationship my whole life pretty much. So I did not know women were out here moving like this. Yes, it is crazy. It is absolutely crazy. Lady C says mental illness is running rampant in the US. Did you all notice how in one text thread, she went from we need a place to stay and I'm sad to, oh, you don't want to play ball? I'll get a lawyer. Y'all notice that switch up? Mental illness. My man has told me, and I didn't want to believe it, I am the care bear in the community. He's like, babe, there's a lot of people around here with low-level mental illness. And I'm like, no, give them a chance. Not anymore. UFO Kamikaze says one of them has been and is still a real life stalker since middle school. Jeez. Rodney says ignorance is no excuse when it comes to death, taxes, law, and childbirth. Erin Laura is picking up on the language. She says she uses our daughter when it suits her, and it'll be my daughter when it suits her. Yes, y'all. Ladies, I hope you are realizing this is a window into a world I did not know. And Killis is right. Very sad for the baby. This is what I want these selfish modern women to understand. And maybe they don't care, but your children will see this. The internet is forever. The reason why I have the kind of content that I have, one, it's just me, but I am accountable. I am somebody's mother. I am somebody's sister. I am somebody's daughter. I have to represent well. You can't just do whatever you want to do. And then how do you feel like your kids' classmates are going to be like, we saw your mom online? I'll be dancing with an apron on. That's all y'all got on me. Rodney says, this is a hostage crisis. Call the law. Yeah, it's the saddest part. All right, let's go back in and see what happens next.
And she said this a few months after she was born. I felt bad, so I let her move in for several months, rent-free. Once she moved out, she told me this: I've never done anything to warrant supervised visits, but I agreed to keep the peace. I would come home
All right, y'all, I'm going to go back just so we can read what else she said, because this TikTok goes really fast. But
As often as I could to see our dog.
Did you hear him say that he allowed her to live rent-free for several months? She asked for 2 and got real comfortable. She's still spamming him. Notice he's not responding. She says, "This is what I want." Really? This is what you want? Okay, lady. I want you to pay her daycare, the full amount. You can have her 1 full weekend a month if you stay at your parents'. I am almost speechless. The nerve of this homeless woman telling a man what he can do with his money and with now his child. Let us continue. You can have her 1 full weekend a month if you stay at your parents'. Let me know if this works for you. Let's just figure this out before you get into town. I don't want to have to speak to you anymore while staying at his place. Okay, lady. Okay. So is this okay? I want to get this over with. Look at who thinks she's in charge here. Can you please respond? We are talking about our child. We talked about having some kind of agreement by this evening, Brett. So we need to figure this out. If you don't respond to me, I'm going to quit responding to you. Now, here come the threats. What would you add, Lucy?
No, that is a woman that is going to get unhinged the more she is told no, the more he ghosts her. So again, this is a very dangerous behavior, because if it's not her way, she's going to start increasing the pressure. And we don't know, he's let her live in the apartment for free for that long. That could be a woman that, could start, I don't know, breaking things and destroying the apartment because she's not getting her way. And she got her way. She got a baby.
Exactly. You give her the things that she wants and she's still not happy. And ladies, I know if you're watching this, you're not crazy, hopefully. But again, you cannot have these episodes one time in a row, because men don't look at how you act right now. They're looking about how you are going to respond in every situation moving forward. So if you don't want to carry this out for the next 20 years, we just talked about emotional intelligence. You better get it together and sort it with yourself, because what I read when I'm looking at this now, we can't go on this vacation, babe. We need to cut back. No, we can't do elaborate Christmas gifts. We're just going to have to send Christmas cards this year. No, babe, we're not going to be able to do that. Anytime you tell her no, she's going to go nuclear. Who wants to live with that? So ladies, if you have a fuse and you go from 0 to 60 that quick, that is why you're single. Let's see what y'all are saying in the chat. Yeah, UFO Kamikaze says she used to pretend to be a regular customer at my ex-wife's job and would be difficult and disrespectful for no reason. The lengths that these women go through to pretend to be somebody else to get a rise out of somebody. I don't have the time. I do not have the mental capacity. Just being me is enough, but to pretend to be somebody else, Lucy called it fatal attraction. Killer says, stuff like this reminds me how thankful I am for my parents. Yes, we have said it here. Some of y'all think regular relationships are boring. I have been in the cocoon of a marriage in a long term. I had no idea this was going on, and I am so grateful. Give me boring any day. Erin Lord says, holy shamoly, now she has a list of demands. This is foul. Exactly, Clue. Oh my goodness. Jurgen says, since men can't know which woman to trust, we don't trust modern women. That's the saddest part. We're all getting it, ladies. I think it will get better, but I hate to say it. It's going to get worse before it gets better. So if you got a good man, hold on like your life depended on it, because it does. Clue Channel says she seems like the slash your tires type. Whew. All right, let's go back in.
I've never done anything to warrant supervised visits, but I agreed to keep the peace. I would come home as often as I could to see our daughter, and things were usually okay when I was there. These are all from her Facebook. One Halloween, I didn't want to wear matching costumes with Maria, so she wouldn't let me see my daughter for a while. And when our daughter was being baptized, I drove a 14-hour round trip from Nashville to attend. And because I didn't want to see Maria the night before, she didn't allow me to come to the baptism at all.
Breathe in, breathe out. I'm not going to scream and shout. Breathe in, breathe out. I'm not going to scream and shout. Y'all, this is another thing that's happening I didn't know. Did you hear him? Again, he's making a lot of wrong decisions by enabling this woman, but he is playing the dad role because he is the father. He is the father. And did you notice she had all those pictures up on her Facebook announcing to the world this big, happy, wholesome family? And you know you're a snake. You know this man does not want to be with you. And he drove for the baptism. You are crazy, but you want your child to be baptized. I'm going to leave that right there. He drives 14 hours to be there for the child. And because he wouldn't be with you the night before, and I didn't know women were doing this, but not only weaponizing the relationship with their children, weaponizing intimacy with them, basically to strong arm him and say, oh, you want to see your kids? You're going to do what I want you to do. I did not know. This is nuts. What would you add, Lucy?
I like what Loose Goose has to say, where they say, I see these long texts from her. Where are his responses? Was she just talking to herself and he wasn't responding? That's exactly it. She was scratching it up. And because he wasn't responding, it was getting worse. And because he's not responding, and those are the ones that blow up your text, your phone. They go find you at your job, and then they make a big deal at your job and you get fired. Again, you have to be very careful with these crazy women, and unfortunately, I have to say it was his fault to allow it from the beginning. On that one nonsense, idea that she had, he should have shut it down right there. Ghosted it, changed the phone number, changed addresses, changed everything, because you knew that was coming.
I couldn't agree more. And it just breaks my heart that he was 23. Somebody should have yanked his chain and said, you are crazy, but nice guy. And he's still trying to be nice, letting her live there, visiting supervised when he's not the crazy one. Let's see what you all are saying in the chat. This is just nuts. Absolutely nuts. I did not know. All right. So unfortunately, modern women, we can't be trusted because of the village idiots amongst us. And yeah, we have to understand it. And ladies, my man will say, if you just take the time to understand and appreciate where men are coming from, you get a lot of credit for that. We just cannot be in this la la land because they're having to wade through a lot of monstars out here to find the good women. And it's a shame. It's a shame. All right. So let's see what else you all are saying. Hello, Lily. She is an idiot, but she's dangerous. This is what makes me nervous. And wow. Yeah, Ben Affleck, Gone Girl film, crazy, absolutely. And you all notice that how she's blowing up his text, and he's responding by not responding. I tell the ladies that I talk to, a non-answer is an answer. But some women won't read the room and realize, oh, maybe I'm coming in too strong. They just double down and push in even harder. Gillis says, this poor guy, Jesus, I hope he finds a nice lady that will give him the kindness in life he deserves. Absolutely. That's what we want. We are better together, but we want good women to be with good men. Jay says the mental illness seems to be growing in the land. Unfortunately, these days, most women cannot accept rejection to the point of acting out in violence and false accusations. That's true. But what makes me the maddest is what did Kevin Samuel say? Lead with positive intent. She knew the whole time she wanted a family unit, but because she also knew she had been the town one night stand, because everybody understood what it was, you knew you don't have the character to ask for a proper relationship. So you try to go, and finagle backdoor it in and try to wrestle this man to the ground to get what you want. It's coming for her. Let us continue.
Soon after this, she served me with child support, saying that our original contract wasn't valid because our daughter didn't have a social security number yet. And I didn't fight her on it. I didn't have the time. I was living away. I ended up paying her $10,000 up front and $750 a month. I was able to move home soon after that, and I began seeing our daughter regularly. Everything was going really well until I got a girlfriend. Even though she had a boyfriend who was regularly around our daughter, she said that my girlfriend couldn't be around our daughter. I was able to get our daughter for an afternoon, and Maria asked what I was doing. I told her that I was with my girlfriend and we were at Lowe's together. She freaked out. I said I'd bring her daughter back to her as soon as we were done, but instead Maria drove to Lowe's, apparently called my dad, and was running up and down the aisle screaming. I don't know what actually happened, but she was freaking out, just blowing up my phone, thinking she was in danger. And keep in mind, my girlfriend is a mom as well as a nurse. Our daughter was never in any danger. When I offered Maria...
Lucy called it fatal attraction. Came to Lowe's where he was. Again, he should have blocked and deleted her, but here we are trying to be nice guy and say, yeah, we're at Lowe's, we're hanging out, everything is fine. This crazy lady comes to Lowe's running up and down the aisle screaming. So again, ladies, if you wonder why men take their time to vet, if you wonder why they want to see us in various circumstances, if you wonder why they test us, Exhibit A is here. What would you add, Lucy?
Yeah, one thing I noticed though, that the girlfriend has a child too. Remember, he said girlfriend is a mom too. So again, I think he's got that. I don't know. Maybe that's a preference for him.
Kate
And
White.
again, at this point, he's not bad looking. He's not heavy set. He doesn't look bad. Why not go for somebody that will not give you that problem? I'm sure that she's probably a nice lady, but with the experience that he's having with this other woman, she decides to get into a similar situation. It's a little strange to me. And I think that the first lady knew exactly how she could manipulate him. He's very soft, unfortunately.
Yeah, I noticed that too. He seems to have, and I am not a doctor here, but he seems to want to rescue kind of damsel in distress. And I'll tell the boys, well, I don't think any of mine are that nice, but it just takes a very special and feminine woman to not take advantage. And ladies, this is why a lot of men are just saying, you know what? No, you got to go. We're not putting up with this. And we always say this, as a, divorcee with children, but it is so much easier for a man without children to date a woman that doesn't have children, because you get to see her for her. Once the kids come and then there's heartstrings and there's bonding and all that, it's difficult for the kids. It's difficult for the man. Would not recommend. All right. So let's see what you all are saying in the chat. We already talked about mental illness. Yeah, she definitely has something going on here. Clue Channel never had a crazy girlfriend. I didn't know this was going on, y'all. I've been over here with my apron on. Jurgen says typical behavior of a beta, but cheating is still cheating. Oh, my goodness. I don't want to put labels on, but you all are seeing a pattern with him, drawing a boundary and then saying, well, this time. And you all are seeing a pattern with her, starting with the sob story and then coming in with the hammer. Rodney says a concept in boxing applies here. Protect yourselves at all times. Thank you, Next Level, for the $2. He says, men, in the words of Nancy Reagan, just say no to drugs and crazy women. Rodney says a strong dose of karma is coming her way. That is my only saving grace here. What goes around comes around, ladies. You will not get away with it. You will not. It's coming for you. It is coming for you. Yes, thank you. All right, let's go back in.
Maria and my girlfriend to get to know each other so they'd be comfortable, with my daughter being around. She immediately said no and called my girlfriend a word that rhymes with chore and refused to get to know her. Maria then made a public post saying that I was a deadbeat dad and that I hadn't seen our daughter in weeks. Here I am with our daughter just a few days prior to this post. I also left my best friend's bachelor party a day early so I could be home for Father's Day, and she still wouldn't allow me to see her. She even said this to my grandmother. She had her friends comment mean things on my girlfriend's social media multiple times, even though my girlfriend has never been anything but nice to Maria. Because Maria tends to do this, I want to make sure that she doesn't twist the story and make it seem like I abandoned our daughter. I recently found out that our daughter isn't mine. I don't know who the dad is, but I've had 2 paternity tests done, and they both say this. I believed Maria when she told me that I was the only possible father. The situation was weird, but I was always happy to be a dad. I knew that Maria already knew she was pregnant. She had to have when she asked me to get her pregnant. I didn't think that was something that someone would lie about to another human being. Not only to me, but my entire family as well. Everybody's distraught about this. Maria, I allowed you to paint me as the villain and you as the victim for years to keep peace, but I hope you know that the only victim here is your child.
Yep, Lucy, I saw it. After all of that, turns out the child wasn't even his. So again, we saw so many times that he could have made and probably should have made in hindsight a better decision. Probably should have had the child tested for paternity from the beginning. But this demonic woman was already pregnant when she lied to him and said, I've been unlucky in love. And could you help me father a child? And put him through all of this, staying in his place rent-free, forging relationships with his parents, asking for supervised visitation. And then this last one, you heard him say he got a new girlfriend. She lost her mind, even though she had a boyfriend. And again, with respect, I think his decision-making, trying to get the new girlfriend and the crazy, we can't even call her an ex-girlfriend, the recipient, trying to get them to meet face to face so that everybody would feel comfortable with everybody. And I'll tell the boys, you cannot make rational decisions with irrational people. This woman has already demonstrated that she is maniacal. She is not trustworthy. She will lie. She will manipulate. So when you have that heart of gold, and some of us who do care get taken advantage of, because we have to be able to also read the room and see, this person does not have good intentions. Okay, I gave you the benefit of the doubt. This is who you are. But this woman is going to breed chaos wherever she goes. And to put him through all that, and the child isn't even his. What would you add, Lucy?
Well, in a way, it was a silver lining that he had to take that DNA test for whatever reason. I don't know what. I think that there was a reason that he had to take that paternity, that DNA test, and that was her karma. And in my mind, I'm thinking, what about the other guy that's with the crazy woman? Does he not realize that he's going to be put in that same situation or worse? Because now she's got a daughter and then some random man is dating her, and she could create a story about this man doing something to the baby, and she could completely destroy that man's life.
This is so true. These women, what I've had to learn, and unfortunately, women of this character, they have perfected their art of manipulation. one, this is not who I am, but I cannot think to conjure up something so crazy. It's just not in me. But there are women that practice this. They try a little bit, see what I can get away with. Oh, this is how he responds. Oh, he's got a soft heart. Let me tell him I'm on hard times. Unfortunately, and I have seen this in some of the women that I talk to, and then they run out and everybody knows they are not to be trusted. And then they're like, please, I just want a real relationship. You have a trail of tears behind you. You have spent 10 years, 20 years running game, telling lies, using men for resources, getting what you wanted. And then now you want a relationship because you're tired. You don't get what you want. Everybody isn't going to win. And I have to accept that. So I'm not surprised that she has a new boyfriend. There are some women that they know how to turn on that pity party. So the next guy is going to feel sorry for her about what somebody else put her through. All of her sad stories, she's perfected them. She can recite them in her sleep. And Kevin Samuels used to say, some of the crazy ones have other skills that work in the short term, but they will never be able to keep a man long term. Let's see what y'all are saying in the chat, and then we will wrap this one up. Aaron Laura says, oh my goodness, I know Jurgen was already ready for it. He said, who knows if this is even really his daughter? Because, and I don't know, I have 2 children, 1 ex-husband, that's it. Like I said, swab everybody. But when you really know that this is your father, I would hope, I could be wrong, but you want a relationship that's going to last. You're actually going to hopefully put what you want on the back burner for the benefit of the kids. If it's just some guy that's like, yeah, let me see what I can get out of him, maybe. But it just takes a really evil person to just, well, this is what's beneficial for me right now, and everybody else can kick rocks. But again, what do I know? Anne says he is handsome. Well, that's good to know, but his decision making, in my opinion, was lacking. And I hope some of his friends or family caught wind of this foolishness, because she's involved the external family, and said, what are you doing? Did you even have a paternity test? And he's probably like, well, no, I mean, she told me, she was ovulating and got pregnant. So I'm glad. Hopefully somebody got in his ear, or maybe he got tired of it. But for men and for women, looks only take us so far. All right, so thank you for that. Yes, we had the DNA test and the results. UFO Kamikaze says some guys refuse to believe that these things happen until it happens to them. And that's the shame. I think we can all learn. We can all learn. Hello, Auntie Jenny's in the house. You all agree? Let's see what else. Rodney says a white knight mentally will result in black and dark moments. And I can see this, unfortunately, ladies, this is where men sometimes harm themselves because they really put it all on the line, or they really believed, or they really trusted. And then when their eyes are open, usually they become dragon-like, and they're like, I don't care who you are. I don't want to hear it. This is how I'm moving. Either you get on board or you get out of the way. Or the ones who can't overcome the disappointment do some very tragic things. And that really hurts me to know. BLJ says nice guys tend to overcorrect and turn cold. This will ruin the chances of another woman finding a happy and stable relationship. So sad. It is terrible. So yes, ladies, and I'm glad we are feeling upset for this man. Auntie Jenny is saying mandatory DNA test. Look, if you've had children, they're going to test. Mine were tested for sickle cell. They're testing them for, because it runs in my family, they're tested for hearing. They're tested for vision. They come in, they prick their little heels. They're doing everything. Might as well run it through the DNA machine. I'll wait. I don't have anything to hide, but women are fighting it, and I wonder why. All right, you all agree? Oh, next level. All right, let's move on. UFO Kamikaze says, me, my attorney, the sheriff's deputy, and a judge told my ex-wife not to return to my property again. Guess who did again and was arrested for domestic criminal trespass? Ladies, some of us, I get it. Oh my God, I'm so sorry to hear that. She's contesting it. Jurgen said, I knew it. Rodney says, this is what you get when you, as a man, live in a woman's friend zone. Ladies, it's not beneficial for us to have men just around as friends. If you're a single woman and you don't want to be, you need to show up single and not have so much male attention. And I don't speak to men here, but I question when men have women friends just because ultimately we want that male attention and some access to those male resources. Such a shame. Loose Goose says, even with all that, if he signed the birth certificate, he's still financially responsible. I didn't know that. Is that true? Y'all are educating me. Loose Goose says he has to go back and petition the court to remove him, and that's if the judge will grant it. Aaron Laura says it's sad and infuriating, but he dodged a bullet. Yes, he absolutely dodged a bullet with this not being his child. Exactly. And Loose Goose says the baby girl probably started. If the child believes that that is his dad, that is the tragedy in all this, because you have ripped away that bond and the child didn't ask to be here. UFO Kamikaze says, most of my own friends didn't believe me until I showed them court documents and mugshots. Jeez. Ryan says, I believe all men should get DNA tests just because of the way the world rolls. So yeah, that's it, you all. This one was a short one, but this TikTok came up in my feed. Hopefully, some teachable moments here. Ladies, we've got to do better. And if nothing else, we've got to call out wrong as wrong and not sit back in silence and say, ooh, not me. Even just saying that's not okay. Because men are going through it out here. And as a boy mom, it terrifies me. Killis is pulling up on the, she said, that's not his kid. You're multitasking. Yes, DNA test, and it said 0% paternity. I'll find the screenshot. What would you say to close us out, Lucy?
No, and if it's true that she's contesting 2 DNA tests, that tells you that this woman is not going to give up.
This is the story.
That's going to be kind of like the cross for him to bear for making that mistake. And again, it goes back to, men must learn from, these examples not to mess around with these women. And you know what? Men know when they're dealing with a crazy woman. There are always signs. There's this show that I watch, I think it's Evil Lives Here or something like that it says, but there were signs. There are always signs indeed.
Absolutely. Killer says, good Lord, the poor child. Yes. Yes. So he dodged a bullet. So you all can see, or if you're just listening in, the screenshot says the probability of paternity is 0%. After all of that time. And so Lucy says, men know when the women are crazy. Jurgen says, I only have women around me who are my friends' wives. Absolutely. I love that. Ladies, we need our men. If nothing else, I tell my men all the time, thank you for the structure, because left to our own devices, this is the foolishness that we can do. But I wanted to share this one with you all. Lucy and I are here twice a week. I do have some upcoming events next week, so unfortunately I won't be with you all Wednesday, but just stay tuned. We like to come and give our perspective as older women teaching the young. But a couple announcements before we go. We do have some classes. If you are interested in learning privately with Lucy and me, we have the Wife Archetypes class. This is, wrong click. This is our 4-week Saturday school. Ladies, if you are marriage minded, if you want to be married and your mother did not raise you to be a good woman to a good man, we are going to teach about what marriage is, what it isn't, how you communicate, how you work with a man, what is a wife, what is a support system, what is a helpmate, and how we can be useful to our men in different phases of their lives. If you don't know what you're doing and you think social media is going to teach you, maybe you can learn from 2 women with combined 40 years of marriage experience. And then stay tuned. Registration will be open soon for next year's Finishing School for the Modern Woman. We have one more week in this session, then we will open up registration. And we have a very generous donor who is sending our graduates on a yacht houseboat to celebrate their achievement. That's going to be next spring. So if you want to join us here in Atlanta for an extravagant weekend, then you need to take the finishing school. We only offer it twice a year. We're wrapping up now. We will do it again in January after the advanced class. So with that being said, thank you all so much. Thank you all so much for being here. Thank you, Swabdi, as always, for the support. Thank you all, Next Level. Thank you, Next Level, for the support. We will see you all next week. Until then,
Adios.
adios.